MGNLive.com is proud to present the Grand National and World Championship Morgan Horse Show. Brought to you by C. Jarvis Insurance. Insuring more than just assets, it's insuring what really matters. Horse Show Wire, the largest e-magazine in the industry. Richfield Video Productions, the leader in video production for the Morgan and Saddlebred world. Broadmoor, Morgan Horses of Distinction. Hallmark Farms, Oklahoma's home for Morgan champions. And Rand, where world champions are made.
I think what makes it grand is watching Gavin's expression of all these nice horses working in this makeup ring.
Yeah.
Oklahoma 2013. Isn't it grand down here in the dirty South?
OKC.
I love the atmosphere of the showgrounds and how nice everyone is.
What makes the Grand National grand for you, sir?
Well, it's the biggest show of the year for us. We wait all year long for this.
Working all year with the kids to bring them here because this is what we work for, to come and show what we've done and learned and improved, and hopefully we'll do well.
OKC!
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 OKC. Woo! OKC. OKC.
Oklahoma 2013.
OKC!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Morgan Grand National. We're happy to have you and glad you're here.
You are Caleb Noble.
And you are Conky Price.
Do you hear that in your dreams?
I do, actually. And I hear a lot of people hear it, too, at home.
Exactly. But one thing I've been dreaming about is the 2013 version of the Morgan World Championship and Grand National Morgan Horse Show. And we're on the red carpet. Who knew? How awesome is this?
I know, I feel kind of like a big deal. I feel like I'm, I don't know, like I don't even know, somewhere special in LA or something.
Well, yeah, and our friend Alex, who's filming us now as we speak, is the LA guru, and so he's telling us this is the real deal. Now, did we not have a great time this morning going out and doing some awesome interviews? And we were in at the show ring. Lynn Peoples walked us through the in-hand geldings this morning. We interviewed some...
Hey, the favorite. Who's the favorite son? The favorite son of New England, and everybody wants him back. What's his name?
Larry Bolin.
Larry Bolin.
Yes,
He killed it again. Oh my gosh, he is amazing at what he does.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, it's very important that we people like us on Facebook and tell them a little bit about how that happens.
All right, so what you do is you go onto Facebook, you like us on Facebook, go to Horse Show Wire up in the little bar where you search for a person's name if you're going to Facebook stalk somebody. You just Facebook stalk Horse Show Wire, like us, and if you want to see something, you want us to interview somebody, or if you want somebody to us to do a certain topic, just message us or put it on the main page, and we'll do our best to get that content on our show. And we'll do our best, and hopefully we'll make you all proud out there.
Now we're going to have the world champion winners, trainers, and owners, and maybe some grooms, anybody who's affiliated with our world championship individuals, come on the red carpet with us, and we're going to be dolled up, and we're going to look like the real LA stock, and that's going to be tons of fun. What else are we doing? Speaking of fine attire, we're going to have the scarf of the day for yours truly. I'm going to have a black jacket, and any of you gals that want to bring me a scarf every day, A, I will wear it, and B, I will acknowledge you. So
what about guys? Might have some too. I might have a couple scarves I might give you.
Well, it works for me, absolutely. Now, the funnest thing that happened yesterday morning, well, two wonderful things happened. We did a beautiful sunset shot out in front of the Coliseum that Caleb set up on one of his special little cameras, and it is gorgeous. It was a God moment, and I was out there, and I really enjoyed it. But inside the Coliseum, Caleb, what did you do that I just busted up over?
Well, if you watch the intro of tonight's show, you'd see at the end of the video, it seems like something's taking off and flying over the ring. That's a drone that we have, and it takes HD video, and you can fly it 165 meters into the air. The thing is crazy. and we use that, and we'll be utilizing that at a few different times this week. So I hope you like it, and we're trying to be as in-depth and as futuristic and interesting as possible, and we hope you enjoy all these cool things we're doing.
I can't wait. I absolutely can't wait. So we will see you at 6 p.m. this very night, 6 to 7.
6 to 7, and the rest of the week, and it's only going to get better and better as we go once we figure out what we're doing, because this is all new to everybody. So we hope you enjoy. Bear with us, and if you have anything you want us to do, like us on Facebook and just message us and let us know what you want to see.
6 to 7 Central Time, so 7 to 8 Eastern Time, right?
This is very true. This is very true. I'm all messed up right now.
Exactly. We're all cattywampus, but we sure are having fun. And we miss all you people that aren't with us. We're going to try and keep you informed and to the point where you feel like you're here with us. So like us on Facebook.
Have a good one.
MGNLive.com is proud to present the Grand National and World Championship Morgan Horse Show.
I am totally thrilled to be here with Sherry Cole. She is our 2013 Grand National and World Championship Morgan chairperson. Sherry, how goes?
It's wonderful. Welcome to windy Oklahoma. We're so glad you're here.
Well, as you well know, it goes from windy and sunny and warm to freezing ourselves maybe this weekend. But you don't have control over that. What do you have control over this week?
Well, I just don't have any control. I just help people. I just do whatever I can to help anybody.
Well, that's what we have heard, and congratulations. What is new and innovative in the show this year?
Well, we're very pleased to have Matt, our show manager, Matt Coppage. He's been with the show since the mid-90s. We're, of course, sad that Fred has left us, but you know what? He left the show in good hands, and we have just moved on, and Matt's doing a wonderful job, he and his wife Sherilyn. So that's the newest thing. And then we have a new amateur equitation division for 18 and over that we're very excited about, and we've had good response to. So that's going to be a good thing. So.
Well, it certainly sounds very exciting, and you have a big crew underneath you that does a good job besides Matt, right?
We have a huge crew, and most of our paid staff has been with us for at least 15 years. Now, how is that for longevity and just, I can't think of the word I want.
Loyalty.
Loyalty, that was the word.
Exactly. Well,
and we have a committee that is just dedicated to making this the best show in the world. And they do what they say they're going to do, and we do everything possible to make this the best show in the world for everybody.
Well, you and I have known each other for a very, very long time. Perhaps people are not aware of that. You are Sherry Cole, daughter of Larry Sparks. Larry Sparks created Triple Creek Farm. And so how long ago was that, Sherry?
Oh my gosh, that was in 1976. Got my first horse for Triple Creek for my birthday. And it was all wonderful after that.
Well, and I got my first horse for my birthday as well. Larry Sparks and Fred Nava are in a position to look down and smile on us, so don't you think that will bode well for an extra special Grand National this week?
I think so, and the other thing, I'll tell you, I've just asked myself all year, what would my dad do, what would Fred do, and it has just helped a lot. So they're great, big shoes to follow in, but we've got a great crew to do it.
Well, it's a beautiful shining light that's going to get us through a great week. And Sherry, we really, really thank you for all your efforts and for keeping your team together. And we will celebrate Oklahoma for another 7 days.
8 days.
8 days.
8 days. It's an 8-day show. It's an 8-day show. And I guarantee you'll probably get to wear everything you brought, no matter what season it's for.
Well, that's the good news and the bad news. The fashionistas like to wear everything that they own. And then those of us who need a scarf a day from people who would like to contribute, I will wear a scarf a day and acknowledge you for it.
Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we're here with Lynn Peoples of Waterford Farms, and we're going to be covering the
geldings in hand, 5 and over, senior champion gelding, and world grand champion gelding. And why do we have Mr. Peoples here?
because he's really good at what he does. Tell us, you have a lot of in-hand horses, and what do you really get out of doing in-hand?
Well, I think we have to have in-hand. It's a type and conformation of our breed, and it's a foundation, and everything comes from that, form to function and so on. I think it's very, very important, and that we should never lose sight of it. It's not as large as it once was, but hopefully it'll come back, and the quality has never been higher, but it's not as large in numbers as it once was.
Cool, so we look forward to talking during the classes, and we hope you enjoy it home.
Entering the ring is the 5 and over geldings in hand at the World Championship Morgan Grand National on our first Saturday morning part of the event. And Lynn Peoples is with us. We did our intro so you can see how handsome he is this morning, and he's going to share expertise with us on what we're seeing in the ring. The reason Lynn is an expert is because he is a registered Morgan judge, and he has bred and shown and been responsible for multi world grand champions. So Lynn, do you want to comment on the competitors in the ring?
This class of 4 is all have their own national and world credits to them already. Very, very nice class. We're looking for a horse that, with conformation correctness, horse that wants to show off what he has. He needs to emphasize the Morgan breed, and which all 4 of these horses do. So I think that it'll be a judge's preference. I believe in the 3-judge system. I believe that it is the right way to do all these classes here at the Grand National.
Lynn, what is your percentage of how they stand up and model, and then when they go down the rail, how do you, in your own personal way of doing things, align that judgment?
I probably would be 60-40 or 65-35, somewhere in that. I never broke it up. The way of going doesn't have quite as much to do with it as the conformation, because this is a conformation class, it's not a performance class.
So what's your ideal in-hand horse, like conformation-wise, or you know, how it goes, or what would be the perfect in-hand horse for you?
Well, a horse needs to be square on his legs. His neck needs to come out of the middle of his back. Short-backed horse. Tail needs to come off of the top of his back, ears on top of his head.
Okay, what are you seeing here with some of these geldings that looks like conformation pluses that you like very much?
Well, this horse is showing right here, right now, is very, very refined. Looks like he wants to be here. I mean, he's a very beautiful, beautiful horse. I don't recall ever seeing this horse show in hand, actually, but he is one of our breed's pretty horses. Can't be mistaken for anything except a Morgan, which is a big plus in my book.
Well, Lynn, because the in-hand division sometimes is referred to as a breed class, since these horses are geldings and can't reproduce, why do we even have an in-hand gelding division?
Well, I think that it is they can't reproduce, but they are fine examples of what our breed is all about.
So we can make reference to their lineage, what their sire and dam is, how they are bred, and so we look at full siblings, et cetera, right?
Exactly, exactly. The more you see and the more you study this breeding, then the more that you can have as a reference to when you're doing your own breeding program.
The reserve winner should be into the ring as well. The reserve winner is 871. Ladies and gentlemen, entry only on New York. Presented by Mickey Ray Whitworth, 871 in second. Game, ladies, Mr. Whitby has the ribbons. Third in the class, the 911 Dragon Speed Maximara. The Hazen shows for the Peanut Gallery in Lexington, Kentucky. 911 is third. The fourth award in class to 825, HBK Woodgrass.
So what do you think about the pinning of this class, Lynn?
I think that there's 4 great geldings in here. This horse is a past world champion that won this class, and it was no accident he won again. The horse's second was right there with him. I think very, very good representatives of our gelding division here at the Grand National.
Now, reserve winner. This is Cartier. Victor Manuel shows the Easy Line Letter from the New York. Cartier and the Red Report. The reserve winner and the class relay style. And the winner on the class relay style is namely Jeff Iron Red. David and Cindy Williams and Over Farm and Great Colorado. Presented by Robert Kevin and Mary Cockrell. I've got a secret. Here's the winner. And our thanks to the representatives of our sponsors.
MGNLive.com is proud to present the Grand National and World Championship Morgan Horse Show.
So we're with Kurt Hufford from Indian Creek Farm. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So give us a little history about yourself. How did you get involved in the Morgans?
Oh, geez. My uncle was is a horse trainer, Dave Hadley, and he worked at Sugar Run Farm for Mildred S. Junk for many years, and I started with them there when I was like 12.
So what happened after that?
Oh, geez. Long story, but ended up coming back to Indiana, started working at Triple Creek Farm with Pierre Loisel, and just kind of went from there. And then I started working, went to work for Mike Gobig for a small stint, Kathy Grimes, and then to Mitch Clark, Red Crabtree, John Knatzer, then here.
Wow, how long have you been at Indian Creek for?
23 years,
wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
It's been the best time of my life. I've had a great time here. I couldn't be working for better people.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah. So how's your year been for the shows?
Oh, it's been great. But for us, being mostly a young horse barn, it's been like trying to piece together a puzzle. Mm-hmm. So we take a really cool young horse here, and then we take another one over here. This is the first time we're able to have them all together at the same show. So we're really excited about this week. Yeah.
So it should be a pretty good show. You think there should be some pretty deep classes?
Oh, it's going to be tough. I mean, you've got so many great breeding programs. You've got Peeper Ranch. You've got Lynn and Kathleen, and so many more. So it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Basically, when I was at Triple Creek Farm, Sherry Cole was sort of my boss. We have a long history and had a lot of fun there. It's great to see her show chairman here taking over the Morgan Grand Nationals this year.
So you guys also have the prefix Spring Mill at this farm. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Spring Mill Morgans has been with us for a long time. I think this is their 15th year, and they've just bred so many great horses, and we've been privileged to be able to work their horses for them through the years. Yeah, it's been a great partnership.
So what's your favorite moment here at Oklahoma over the years?
Well, that's a tough one. There's just been so many great classes, and I remember, because I always thought that there should be an award, like Class of the Year.
Yep.
And one of my favorites was the Park Harness a couple years ago when Spring Mill Superstition won. Mm-hmm. That was just so fun. I mean, just an exciting class. It was drama, and then, a 3-year-old ends up winning the Open, and yeah, that was just one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's a cool story. Well, thank you so much for talking to us, and good luck with the week.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
At C. Jarvis Insurance Agency, we have a heart for horses and for the people involved in their care, breeding, and training. The Jarvis Agency has been owned and operated by us, a family of horsemen, since it was founded. Since 1946, we have taken a personal interest in the lives and livelihoods of horse owners and equine entrepreneurs, giving us a unique understanding of the needs specific to horse owners as well as those in equine-related businesses. Through our International Bloodstock Agency, we are able to insure your family, friend, or your multi-million-dollar stallion with individually tailored policies that cover your exact needs. Whether your investment is an American Saddlebred World Champion gaited horse, Morgan Grand National Park horse, Cobtail Hackney pony, or a backyard companion, C. Jarvis provides the very best coverage available. And our unparalleled service allows us to offer equine coverage not only locally, but nationally and internationally. Jarvis Insurance Agency provides total insurance protection for ranches and farms, as well as major breeding and training centers responsible for hundreds of horses and clients. Now we have taken our coverage a step further to you, the professional or non-professional horseman. Our new worldwide accident policy covers injuries on or off the job, indemnifying you with weekly compensation. Our number one goal is to provide you with the best possible service. To attain that goal, we employ a staff of professionally trained agents who share our commitment, our knowledge, and our expertise. For details, check us out on the web at www.jarvisinsurance.com. Then give us a call. We'd love to help you protect your equine dreams.
Go now to class number 7. We the world champion senior gelding, presented by Sunlight Morgans, Errol and Wayne Peak in Piedmont, Oklahoma.
So Lynn, for the people at home, what does a senior championship mean?
It is for the geldings that are 3 and over. Junior champion is 2 and under. So this is the older age group, more mature horses, horses that have more experience. I believe this gelding right here is last year's junior champion gelding.
As a judge, would you, when they, do you already kind of have your mind set on who's going to win the class, or could they, a horse that got pinned second in the first class win it in the next one?
Without a doubt, it's a brand new class, and if you don't think that way, I believe that there's no reason to have a senior champion. You should just bring back the first place ones. But quite often, a horse that made a bad show in the first class comes back and stands up and behaves himself in the second class, he can move up.
There's 5 beautiful geldings out here.
Yes, there is. Very, very good representatives of our breed. They all look like they're on their A game. They're all showing very well. So it'll be a judge's preference from here.
So for yourself, do you like a more typey or type Morgan, or what type Morgan do you like to have?
Well, I believe that a horse has to look like a Morgan. It can be confused with any other breed. They can have refinement as long as they look like a Morgan. And on the other hand, we don't want them to look like they need to be pulling a plow either.
Definitely seems like a tough decision for the judges.
It is, and I think the more familiar you are with the breed, the easier and easier it becomes. There's some small things that make big differences. It looks to me the veterans of this class are showing, and I think that's how the results will turn out with the more experienced horses having an edge here.
So on this trot right here, it comes fast for the judges. They really got to be paying attention to what's happening.
It's short and sweet. You definitely have to have an idea of what you're looking for.
World Champion Senior Delta class presented by Sun Life Mortgage and Carroll and Conky Creek, Piedmont, Oklahoma. The World Champion Senior Delta leads down to the end of the ring to receive your award, and that's 136 MGNLive. Sit They presented local Andover Farming Creek, Greenwood, Colorado. Presented by Robert Keller and Mary Cockrell. The MGNLive Got a Secret is the World Champion Senior Delta. World Champion holder donated by Smart Pack. Reserve World Champion to the end of the ring. The Reserve World Champion is 748 millennium. Contract Tardelli, Rhode Island. 25 John Hunter Millennium Force.
So Lynn, what do you think about the places in this class? Two beautiful horses at first and second.
I think both these horses are, like I said, very good representatives of our breed and the gelding division. Both horses showed up to show. They had their A game on today, and that's how they ended up being World Senior Champion Reserve.
morning.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you. I guess we're going to cross paths quite a bit this week.
Right.
How are you doing?
We're doing good, thank you.
This is Mr. and Mrs. Moore.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
world champion gelding is heavyweight champion Jealousy Red.
He loves it. You give him a wild light, going out. He just loves going out.
Colorado. MGNLive got a secret. Is the secret world champion gelding. And our thanks to Sublime Mortgage of Carolyn Conky, Meanwhile, Oklahoma.
Good presentation.
What competitors are going to be in here? Who is the only people allowed or horses allowed in this World Championship class?
Are the World Junior Champion and Reserve and the World Senior Champion and Reserve.
Okay, one more to go. And this is last year's World Champion gelding, right?
I believe that's correct. One we're waiting on. This horse by far has had the most experience. Sometimes they get tired of their job, so it's not always a benefit to have the most experience.
Now, since we're a subjectively judged breed, a lot of perspective goes into formulating your judgment. Now, isn't the perspective by virtue of a physical position of standing in the ring make it a very, very different picture than what we see from outside the ring?
Yes, it does. It looks a lot different from down there. You hear that, and sometimes you wonder about it, but after you've done it, it really does look different from down there.
Can you feel the different personalities and the energy about these horses when you get up close and personal with them, and does that help you with your judgment as well?
I think you can, on the great ones especially. Some just have throw off a vibe that they are the one, and they came there to show, and they are very professional about it.
Well, I remember one year El Toro in Amateur Park Harness. He was second place on my card, and when we walked the line, he looked at me and said, "You better rethink it, lady, because I've won this big time." And I moved him right to the top, and I have goosepimples right now telling about it.
Yes, it's when that happens, you remember it.
Well, in hand in particular, Lynn, I think your Boogie Stallion and Unity and Man in Motion all showed very, very well for you and made us all have goosepimples. Which one do you think was your favorite as you're thinking about it today?
Well, I think that with Born to Boogie showed up to show always. I don't think there was anything that stands out in my mind any more than when Man in Motion looked up at this big screen and saw himself, and he was starstruck. I mean, it was probably one of the funnier things that happened, and he stood there and stared at himself. He was mesmerized, and so was everybody else that was here that night. So.
I was there, and the crowd went wild, and he loved it, and it was a Kodak moment. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. That was just fantastic. But Boogie was a stallion, but he was a love bug back at his stalls when we would go and visit him. Isn't that a nice thing about him?
Yes, he was very, very personable. He loved people, and he's a great show horse, and he knew when it was time to show and when it wasn't time. So he had two different personalities. He could turn it on and turn it off.
And the world champion gelding, by unanimous vote of the judges, it's MGNLive.
Did you call that one?
Yes, I believe that's the way I would have done it, and it's no secret anymore.
Well said, Lynn. Well said.
To the presentation area, reserve world champion, 748 Millennium 4.
And you liked this guy as well, didn't you?
Yes, I did. He's a show horse. He showed up to show, and he showed clear through. Well deserving of this title. I have to say, I think it is especially unique that this gelding is still owned by his breeder, and she's thought enough of him to go ahead and promote him and show him. A lot of them go ahead and sell geldings because he won't fit into the breeding program, but she's kept this horse and he's brought her, lots and lots of great memories, that's for sure.
Yes, when it comes to the geldings, sometimes we have concerns in their geriatric years that somebody is in fact going to love them and take care of them because they aren't capable of reproducing. And we do admire the owners that do give them a beautiful home, for the rest of their days, because these animals, we are all they have, and they give us unconditional love and have just given us so much joy that I certainly admire the people that do that. And I know you do that at Waterford Farm, and that's one of the reasons I love you.
Well, they earn their place there. They deserve it, and anybody that doesn't, shame on them. They were good for you as long as they were good, and then you owe that to them when they're not able to be as rewarding.
Now, some of the lesson programs have done very, very well with their retired show geldings that they've, gotten from people who have had great success with them, because a lot of the retired ones, they love their job, and Morgans want to have a job on a daily basis. And then I think they feel a responsibility to take care of some of the people that are just learning how to ride, and they're very, very patient and take good care of them. Have you found that true in your lesson program?
Yeah, I believe so. The horses that have been to the horse show, and like we said about Boogie, he knew when to light it up and when to turn it down. But they have seen it all, so you can't surprise them. They're not surprised in a lesson program.
World champion gelding. And the world champion gelding is MGNLive. Got the secret. Robert Kenneth and Mary Coughlin will be doing with Angel City in Greenwood, Colorado. I got a secret. Is the world champion gelding.
Brought to you by Hallmark Farms. Hallmark Farms, Oklahoma's home for champions.
MGNLive.com is proud to present the Grand National and World Championship Morgan Horse Show.
So with us, we have Larry Bowen from Cedar Creek Farm. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So what are we going to be doing?
We're going to do Amateur Western Pleasure. Is it Masters qualifier?
It's the Gentlemen's Finals.
Wonderful.
I think it's the Gentlemen's Finals.
Perfect. Well, let's get to it.
Well, Larry, I'm here to tell you, you are back by popular demand. Those folks who tuned us in at the New England Regional Show when you were beside me in this configuration and we did the live commentary, you did such a wonderful job with our Western horses and our hunter horses. We had to have you back here at the World Championship. So we thank you from the bottom of our little heart for being here.
Well, you are very kind. I had a great time doing it at New England. I was a little apprehensive because I was a little nervous, but it was great fun, and what a great crew to work with. So this is wonderful.
And right back at you, my friend. Well, I'm going to take this opportunity to toot our own horn. If it wasn't for Horse Show Wire, we wouldn't be here. And the gentleman on that fancy-looking chestnut horse with the 2 white socks behind on our monitor is Horse Show Wire. That's Shane Darnell. So we're going to shamelessly root for him in this class. But
we do sort of have a player in the game.
Yeah, we sure do. But please make observations as these horses go by. And
well, this is going to be the first finals class, so this is going to be a big deal. These horses are going to be crowned Grand National Finals winners. They're getting all the goodies, the cooler and the ribbons and all of that. And this will be, as they said in the prize list, it is a gentleman's class. They're all amateurs, and very good amateurs, I might add.
Now, the World Championship Show has a qualifying process. Do the So does this Masters class do that, or is it just age related and gentleman qualification?
It would be an amateur. It's gentleman's amateur. So it comes up as a gentleman's class first, and it is not a master's class. This could be any age. So you don't have to be 50 and over for this class.
Gotcha.
So that means if it was a Masters, I couldn't show, but you guys could.
Thank you so much, Caleb.
There will be some throwing Caleb over the rail before the week is
Yes.
over. What do you
Conky
think?
could not show in this class, but I could.
Western Pleasure Amateur Gentlemen's Finals presented by the Ceremonial Farm. Dr. Mrs. Stan Longenecker and Sally Longenecker. Gigi Swan and Mrs. Tony. The winner of the prize is ready to receive your award. And winning the Western Pleasure Gentlemen's Finals, it's 319. Valley O'Reilly. Mike Nelson, Michigan. 319. The winner. Reserve rides to the end of the ring. Also reserve in class 313. Rising Crystal Peace. Shane Darnell.
There's our hero. This is our Horse Show Wire owner and champion. How's that?
Other award winners ride forward, please. Whitney hands the ribbons. Third in class 115, the MHF.
So Larry, what do you think about the champion of this class? Pretty nice horse, huh?
Very nice horse. Did such a pretty job. Kind of flawless performance on the rail, and just a very smooth, nice horse. As is the second place horse. And it's nice to see these chestnuts, which isn't a big popular color in our breed, pop up there and be so pretty and be so nice.
The reserve winner in Western Pleasure Gentlemen's Finals is running Crystal Peace. Shane Darnell, Captain Falls, New Hampshire, is the grand rider. Riding Crystal Peace and Shane Darnell is the reserve winner.
So we kept Larry around for what class, Conky?
Grand National Amateur Pleasure Mares. Hunter, I'm sorry. Grand National Amateur Pleasure Hunter Mares. Wonderful. Here they come.
Should be a good class.
Oh,
It
absolutely.
should be a great class. Now, you'll find that we won't get as many in this as we get in the Stallions and Geldings. There'll be 30 in the Stallions and Geldings. And this class is usually a little lighter in numbers, but it'll be a very competitive class. And this is going to be a qualifier. One of the very first World Championships of the week will be the Hunter Amateur Championship, and that usually falls on Wednesday night, which is fairly early in the week. So we're going to get all these amateur qualifiers out of the way the first couple of days, and wow, lots of tail on that hunter, isn't there?
Yeah.
So this is going to feed into the Amateur World Championship on Wednesday. I'm pretty sure it's Wednesday night, and that will be a huge class as well.
Okay, now because you have a judging school position in the American Morgan Horse Association's organization, define us a little bit relative to this is an amateur class. We also have ladies classes, junior exhibitors classes. We just had a gentleman's western class. So speak to me about the judging specs on those different divisions.
Well, because it's an amateur's class, this manners and suitability are going to be very high priority in this class. You want a horse that's going to be very mannerly. Amateur horses can be a little more bold than a ladies' horse. probably closer to the open division than the ladies division would be. But you're still looking for a horse that is an amateur suitable horse.
Now, we have amateurs that are real seasoned, good jockeys, and then we have people who haven't been in the business and riding quite that long. And so, how do you take all that in consideration, and particularly in a world championship horse show?
Well, sure, you're going to have some riders that are more talented, more seasoned, more experienced than other riders. You know, unfortunately, that isn't, you know, the best guy wins here. So if you're a somewhat more novice rider, you know, you want to maybe hit some of those early shows and get some experience. Once you get to this level, everybody's expected to be on an equal plane. You're coming in here to do a great job, show your horse, and it really shouldn't be a consideration if somebody's not quite as talented. That's not going to influence your decision in this class.
So attire, you know, there's a difference. Some people wear the shad bellies at night, talking more night stuff. But what's the attire supposed to be for a day class compared to a night class in the hunter division?
Good or bad, this division has gotten a little more flashy. The traditional hunter classes are very conservative. Usually a dark coat, canary breeches, high boots that can either be black or brown. Black is more traditional. Hard hat is required. You know, the shad belly went through a very popular stage for a while, and I think you'll find that nowadays in the championships, a lot of people are staying with the hunt coats instead of doing the shad belly. You'll still see a few of them, but they're not nearly as popular as they were a few years ago.
Now, when you're coaching your amateurs and your junior exhibitors and the classes are large, what kind of instruction do you give them relative to positioning in the ring? And with a one-judge class, there's one theory, and you only have one judge to worry about. But how do you do it when you have three at this level?
Well, obviously in a huge class, by the time this ends up in the World Championship and you have maybe 30 horses in here, if you can't get seen, you can't get judged. So it's very important to be out and be seen and not get caught buried on the rail. Conversely, I hate to see horses that are continually in the middle of the ring that don't need to be there. If you have a great spot on the rail and you're not covered up, that's your best spot to be. Sure, if they're 4 deep on the rail, you need to get out and get seen or get around. This class is, you can see here, they're pretty well equally positioned. Everybody's got a good spot. Nobody's getting covered up. So you want to tell your riders, you know, you can't just stick on the rail and get covered up every pass. You're not going to get seen.
And how much of an extent, you know, the extended canter right now, what do you look for in an extended canter compared to a normal canter?
In our English pleasure division, you call it a road trot, and that's a speed gait. So you go from a pleasure trot to a road trot. In the hunter division, we're calling for extensions. And what that is a lengthening of stride. We call for an extension at the trot, and we call for an extension at the canter. And it shouldn't be a lot of speed. We're not looking for a hand gallop here. We're looking for a horse that actually extends the length of his stride and moves on with it.
And I know that we talked at New England about the type of motion that a hunter has. If you want more extension or more like an English pleasure horse.
We called it, our reference was elliptical motion or rounder motion.
This is more elliptical motion. There's been more discussion, I won't say controversy, but there's been lots and lots of discussion about this division and whether we need to police it and get everybody on the same page with it, because we've had horses that were basically English pleasure horses in hunter tack, and that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for a horse that is a little softer, more fluid, not more fluid than a pleasure horse, but we're not looking for a lot of motion in these classes. And I think there'll be a day when we address the shoeing in maybe this division as well as the Western division. And because right now we penalize our classic horses, but we don't penalize our hunters or Western horses for weight, weight of shoe, amount of pad, all those things. And I think that at some point we're going to need to address that so that we treat those divisions more equally.
That's sort of an interesting topic, the shoeing, because Back in the day, shoeing was such a big thing, and we wanted really short feet and really light shoes and et cetera, et cetera. And it's so interesting now that in the 21st century, we're so much more lenient that we're rethinking our shoeing regulations relative to the divisions. However, the hunter and pleasure division, hunters were almost non-existent in the era that I'm referring to, and Western certainly was not loaded with contenders, so perhaps that's the direction we're going.
Well, this division, the hunter pleasure division, has become the largest division at most of the horse shows. People are comfortable in this. Sometimes they do it themselves. They feel more competitive in this division. But when you're addressing length of foot and weight of shoe, we're also breeding horses that are a little bigger. People are bigger in present day. We're not breeding for 14 two hands. So consequently, the length issue had to be addressed because we were making these horses soar to keep them short enough to be legal. So that's why they adjusted the length. But I do think we need to address the shoeing issue on some of these divisions.
Well, from a practical standpoint, the definition of a hunter, I think, is a horse that goes out over hill and dale on a hunt. I mean, even though this is a quasi, certainly long way from the hunt field, you would never want a long-footed horse, shot up out in the hunt field. So perhaps.
And these horses, while they probably, most of them have never seen a fence, and other than in their pasture, or do other things. You want a horse that looks like if you wanted to take him out and go cross country or go on a trail ride, that he is suitable for that. We don't want to see these horses all buckled up looking down at the ground. They need to be happy going forward, looking where they're going, and be a pleasure to ride. And as we described the classic division as softened, I think my emphasis on this division is the same thing. You want to see a beautiful horse, well-mannered, well-collected, but soft and fluid.
And in the lineup, it's a real quick question. Do you want a horse to stand out, or do you want it square, like for a hunting division?
You would ask these horses to stand square. Sometimes these horses come from another division, or they've been English pleasure horses or classic horses or whatever, and it's maybe more difficult because they're so used to going into the lineup and stretching. And I wouldn't penalize a horse overly harshly for something like that. But given your druthers, you'd want to see them stand square.
Now, this judge has elected to ask the hunters to back, which you said is an option, not a requirement. So she's obviously looking for something in the manners department, or perhaps she has several horses vying for a top position, and this is the means by which she's going to separate them out.
And I would imagine, unless she's just doing this on her own, that they have discussed this ahead of time, the three judges. I don't think I would have taken it on myself to do something without consulting with the other judges before the class comes in. You can't talk to the other judge once the class has started. But if they had decided, are we going to back these horses, are we not going to back these horses, I think that decision was probably made before these horses ever came in the ring.
Now, from a personal standpoint and from a professional standpoint and from an instructor at judges school, what routinely is your MO when you're in a 3-judge panel relative to talking about the competition in center ring when you're done?
Oh, I think that's going to happen no matter what. You're going to go in and say, what did you tie? And there'll be some discussion, maybe a little arguing about some things, or explanation. Well, I saw this horse do blah-de-blah in the corner. It took a wrong lead, it wouldn't walk, whatever, and the other judge says, well, I pinned it because I never saw that and it was perfect in front of me, which is going to happen. So, I think it's good to discuss those things, but at the same time, you don't want a lot of preconceived ideas going into the latter part of the week where everybody's going, well, this horse made such a fantastic job in his qualifier, it's got to be a new ball game when they come in later on, and it should be.
Well, I think at Northampton when we discussed this, we decided it was living in the now. We're gonna judge the class in the now.
Absolutely. Every time, I can't tell you how many times you've seen a horse, maybe several times during the week, and he consistently does the same thing that you either don't like or isn't mannerly, or he turns around and isn't nearly as good as he was the first way. And many times you'll be surprised by the time the end of the week. You have to remember you can't be prejudiced against that horse because he might come back and just blow them all out of the water, and that happens. Not all the time, but it does. And so you have to think of it as a whole new ball game. Every time they come in the gate, they need a brand new slate and as big a shot at this as anybody else.
Well, unfortunately, the opposite holds true. You can get a fancy park horse that just smokes them in the qualifier, and then you think, oh, yeah, boy, Saturday night, this is just going to be the grandest and the greatest. And then
they're called a one-trick pony. And they make one great show at a horse show and usually come back and can't quite live up to their reputations in the championships.
sometimes it's fun, though, to watch these horses' careers, and they'll do that for a couple of show seasons. And then it seems once they get their sea legs and, you know, perhaps the trainer and the farrier and, you know, their nutritional regimen, et cetera, or their massage therapist all gets on the same page and look at, they can put two big-time shows together.
Oh, absolutely.
And it makes everybody so happy.
Yeah, it's an ongoing process. These horses change. They go from different owners, different trainers, different combinations, and some people get along great with certain horses and others don't. So you'll see a lot of changes.
We'll ride down to the end of the range to exceed your reward after the red class goes to 948 equinox premonition. And the hill will rise in the rail out the corner in Brooklyn, New York. 940 wins.
Looks like a very excited rider right there, riding down to the winners.
Yeah, she's just won a very competitive class. This is her trainer, Jason von Balmus, running down there to help put the ribbons on. This was a great win, and it'll be interesting to see this horse back in the championship on Wednesday night.
Third award in the class to 641, PFF Francisca. In traffic, Carnation Washington, the right shows the entry. 641 is third. The fourth award in the class to 764, MGNLive Sage Fire. Bus by the Stewart, Medina, Ohio, 764 is fifth ward in the class of 110, GLB Live Rose. Eric Parker from Wisconsin. The owner rider, 110, is fifth. Sixth ward, 49, SPR Margarita. Seventh ward, 164, Dusty Lee's She's All That. Buffalo Riley, 29,
take this with you?
is seventh.
So you should be able to get caught. It's pretty fast. It's cut out the shot run.
The ninth ward in class goes to 254 Bears Showgirl. The rider Lakeville, Minnesota, 254. The 10th ward, 166, Rustic Lee, Angel.